Welcome back to the Nullified take, where we've got the TNT takes for you on the Challenge 38, also streaming live today on Realness with 3 S's, and we've got Drew from the Angelcake Entertainment channel here with us as well. Chantal and Drew, we've done a few of these, I feel like, over the last couple of weeks. It's been draft mania. How are you guys feeling coming into the yet another draft, I guess, Chantal?
I'm actually looking forward to this one because there are so many people that we don't actually know. It'll be interesting to talk about them. It'll be interesting to see who's going to be on whose teams. And then, like, are we going to be heckling people later on? Like, it's kind of fun just to, like, being doing it so far in advance that we have no idea what any of the spoilers are going to be. We have no real idea of, like, who's going to be good. Maybe there's going to be a dark horse, like whatever. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. No expectations.
Yeah. Drew, how are you feeling coming into this one? We've got limited information in regards to, we know who's going to be on the season, but beyond that, we really don't know anything. And we're doing this draft, probably months in advance before it even actually is.
Yeah, I'm actually more excited for this draft than, say, the Challenge USA one. I think I was full tilt. I had no idea what was going on, but it's getting to that point where fantasy football, like, I'm getting the itch to do that. And then it's like my favorite part of fantasy football is the drafting part. So I love these drafts. I just love mock drafts. I love these drafts. I'm just having a fun time with some fun friends doing some challenge related fantasy drafts. But I'll say I'm a little bit more confident in myself and my own abilities coming into this one than, say, the Challenge USA, which I feel like both of you have me like pegged on that draft easily. Like, I was like nervous for my first pick. So yeah.
It's funny because we had a bit of a poll up on my channel to say who's got the best team, and Chantal is out in front, I think 40-something%. I'm somewhere second, and Drew, you're last. So I kind of think that's how we felt at the end of that draft. We felt that it was going to go that way. But for those people that are new and have never seen us do any of these drafts before, it isn't just the simple, schoolyard pick. These are your teams, and whoever wins, wins. There is points involved in who's going to win it. So maybe that takes a little bit of decision-making in regards to who do you think is going to have, the most confessionals, who's potentially going to get in a fight, who's potentially going to win a daily. Can you talk us through, just very briefly, for those that are new, they're stumbling across our channel for the first time, just how the point system is going to work this season?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a different type of fantasy draft where there's going to be points per confessional. So every time somebody gets put onto the screen and talking with a green screen behind them, giving like different talks, either narrating what the daily challenge is or their thought process, will get 1 point. Daily challenge wins is 5 points. Elimination wins are 3 points. Kissing and making out will be 2 points. Now, we've talked about this. Because people are coming with their ride or dies, boyfriends, we're not giving 2 points to people if they kiss their boyfriends or girlfriends or partners. That's not the deal. If they kiss somebody
only
outside
if cheating, only if cheating happens.
Only if cheating happens, or if somebody makes out with somebody completely different that they are not already connected with coming onto the season. So that's 2 points. Arguments and drama, 2 points. Please let there be a lot of arguments and drama. If somebody DQs, and it has to be clarified that it's DQ'd. If somebody walks away from a daily challenge, or if they can't complete it, or if somebody gets medically DQ'd from an elimination or anything, that will be minus 2 points. And if somebody makes it to a finals, you'll get 10 points per player. So if your team of 2 people make it to the finals, you'll get 20 points all together. And then winning, you'll get an extra 50 plus. And that's just the basic rules at this point, because if there is something added to the game or twist, we'll talk about it during the weekly recaps, and then we'll make a decision on whether we're going to put extra points onto something. Like if there is like 3 teams can win into power, then we'll have a decision on what makes first place get certain amount of points, second place. But right now, because we had nothing of the game, these are just the general points that we're going with.
Exciting. So let's get into a wheel spin. We are going to do things a little bit differently this time around. We're going to have 2 wheel spins. So we've just decided this before we started recording. Drew's a little bit nervous about how this is going to play out. So you're seeing it here first. We've never done this before, but we spoke about this for the Challenge USA draft. We're going to have a sabotage round, and that is going to be the very first round. So the first spin The first wheel of spin with the names we're doing here is going to be for the sabotage. So whoever wins this, they're going to be able to decide who they want to sabotage. And then we're going to make sure everybody sabotages someone differently. So it's going to kind of be like a little bit of a snake, I guess,
They can
formation.
pick
And
the
how we're going to do.
sabotage order. How about that? It's supreme
Yeah.
power.
There we go. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it. Let's see who's going to sabotage who for this season. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, the one person you do not want to have power. The one person, Drew, you do not want to have power. Gets all the power here right from the start. All right, so who, why, and when, Chantal, what are you going to do here?
I'm going to have to go with Mr. Nervous Nelly Pants Drew. I'm going to have to sabotage him. Then Drew can sabotage Chris, and Chris can sabotage me. The reason why I'm picking Drew is because he came in really confident. So that means that he feels that he knows this cast well enough to do really good cast assessments and drafting. So I feel like we need to make sure that he's not going to do really, really, really well. And he's going to be very mad at me for doing this.
Drew, how do you feel getting the first booby trap for the season?
I'm really upset because I had an idea of who I wanted to give Chantal, and now I'm like, I'm not nervous, but I'm nervous.
I mean, I kind of have to do this just because of kind of what's in the ethers. I have to give Drew Handsome Nom and his partner Emmy.
Ooh, okay. So first one, Nom and Emmy off the board. Why are you giving him Nom and Emmy?
It seems as though they're not going to do very well. And so, like, there's just been slight rumors. It's the only person I kind of heard any rumors about. And I don't want that person to be on my team. And so if I'm going to be sabotaging anybody, it's going to be with the minimal amount of knowledge that I have. And it would be to give Drew someone that it seems like it's not going to do very well. So Nom and Emmy will have to go to Drew. I'm really sorry. Hate me.
You're definitely not.
You're going to have to sabotage Chris instead of me.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry, Drew. Do you still love me? No.
This job has not gone the way he wanted it to go coming into it today.
I mean, it's just an empty space right now, so that's fun. That's fun to go for. All right. So for Chris, I mean, I'm gonna have to give you. I'm just thinking. It's between two. You know what? I'm gonna give you, because I think you were talking highly about her the other night. I'm gonna give you Kayla and Sam.
Oh,
Kayla and Sam. Okay,
that's nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you.
Kayla I feel like that's a really friendly sabotage. I'm very happy with the friendly sabotage you're giving me there. But why do you feel low on them at the moment?
Well, I feel low at them because Kayla hasn't played the game until season 35 was the last time we saw her play on the main season of the challenge. I'm more thinking that her partner is going to hold her back. She's coming in after being on All Stars 3. She might be feeling herself. She might be drinking her own Kool-Aid coming into the season. And then looking at her partner, Sam, I just don't have the highest, I just don't think she's going to do that well with Sam by her side. I think that it's just not going to work out as well. I think, yes, she's coming in with Nani, who's the nucleus of this season, possibly. But how strong are their ties with Kayla coming in, and Nani has all these other relationships that she has to pick up with, kind of thing. I think
Drew really likes you, Chris, because I think that they could easily get some points. They might not win the season, absolutely, but I do feel as though they have the capability of sticking around for a bit. She's familiar with the game structure. She's probably going to tell him a lot about how to play the game, and he's familiar with being at least on reality TV shows, and so he might even be friends with Bear. Or maybe not friends with Bear, but with Kyle and maybe some of the other Brits. And so I don't know. I just think that this is such a friendly sabotage.
I'm happy with
good.
I mean, Honestly, it was either her, that team, or Anissa, and I really felt bad if I were to
You know what?
give
If you wanted to stab me, you
Anissa. But also, I was hoping that would leave him open to giving you Anissa. So I was trying to figure out like which person to go with. I just feel like coming into the
I don't
season,
even
I'm
think
not
he's
as
giving me
highly
Anissa. I think he's giving me
I'm
somebody
not.
else.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry, Drew. Like, I want to do you a solid because you did me a solid, but
Like,
I'm gonna have to give you someone that I don't like. I'm gonna be predictable in who I'm gonna give you because I don't know both of these people that well, so I don't really feel like that comfortable about having them in my team to begin with. And I'm not a big dating show fan, so I'm okay giving you Johnny M and Raven because I just
Okay.
would never pick them. I'm happy to give them to you. I don't know. I feel like dating show people, when they come onto the challenge, they're always in for a rude awakening because it's strategy, there's physicality, they may give you makeout points, but I'm okay losing makeout points if that is what it's about. I don't think these two are going to win the season. So that's why I'm happy to give you those two.
I think that's even better than I thought. Oh my god! Like I am
Really?
like the evil wench here. I'm sorry, Drew.
Yeah.
So oh my god, you agreed to? Oh my god, I feel really. Should I change it? I can give you somebody equally as
Did the
horrible.
sabotage completely fail?
I mean, you
First time
can't,
around
you
that we
can't
tried
change it. You can't
I'm,
change it.
I'm changing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, Johnny, I didn't have ranked the lowest. Just because of the fact that I think that he will probably gravitate towards Nelson, maybe be part of like Team Young Buck 2.0. Not that Nelson is really great at strategizing, but he's not bad at bringing in people that want to work together and friends that are going to stick together. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny is able to get in with people, and he's pretty fit. And did he go on CBS or no? I can't remember right now. Is he on CBS, the challenge?
No, he's not.
No.
I should have listened to Drew. I just feel like I should have listened to Drew. I should just.
Oh, I do,
Anissa.
I mean, I'm just surprised because I didn't have him super low. I don't know Raven obviously at all. I do think that he has a big ego. He loves like being in front of the camera. So I think that he's going to try really hard. He's going to want to be the new guy, like it guy on the show. And so I just think that he's going to try really hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's good at some things that we aren't expecting him to be. So I just don't think he's going to be that bad. I think that he could be feared a little bit to go in because he's a big guy. Like I don't know, he's not super tall. He's like 5'11", but like he works out. Like he's pretty fit. So I don't know. I'm not mad at that.
I still feel okay about letting him go and her go because I would rather work with the known factions than those that I don't know. And this is where I get found out, I guess, when it comes to these drafts, because whenever Love Island gets involved, I'm in trouble. Like whenever any of these dating shows get involved, I'm in trouble. I just don't know what I don't know. And man, oh man, like I'm not going to start watching dating shows.
He might be a D1 athlete, I think. Let me find
out. So you just said you would rather deal with the known entity. So I'm expecting you to be ready to pick Anissa over majority of these other teams because you know what she can bring. So you're gonna go and give her two what seems to be very fit young athletes and an actress, and then you're gonna. I'm expecting you to pick up Anissa, right? Like right in the second round.
This has been such a fail, but fun.
What do you mean? It's been fabulous for me. I'm happy.
For you, yeah, you won the order. You get to choose a real sabotage on Drew, and then both myself and Drew, I guess, kind of didn't really go the right direction here. But it's still fun. I actually quite enjoyed. We definitely should continue to do this. Maybe it's just not sometimes it takes a couple of tries before you get good at the sabotage. But we're going to go into the next round, right? Which is going to be to decide which order we're going to be choosing.
Maybe I should be taken out of that one.
No, we'll keep you in it. Keep it fair.
Is it though? Would it be fair?
Chantel's feeling so high. Like,
I
Chantel, it's
feel
yours to
so
lose
bad.
now.
Like,
Oh no, look at this. This is your draft.
see, no, it's
100% your
too.
draft.
That's too much power. That's too much power. I can't.
Well, you can choose whatever you want here. You could choose if you feel like you want to put yourself at a disadvantage because you've got too much power. You
No,
can
I
do
wouldn't.
that.
I mean, I wouldn't do that with the power, but like I'm saying, like maybe having someone else have the power. But
No, let's go. Let's go with it. Let's keep it rolling. Like, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen this season. Anything could still happen.
so my order is going to be: I'll go first.
Yep.
Chris will go second. And Drewy Pants will go third and fourth.
All right. Start us off, Chantel.
I mean, I can't come onto the season without taking bananas, as the fans like to hear you say it, Chris, and Nani. I mean, I don't know if Bananas is going to win again, but I think that the fact that he was able to take Nani as his partner from, what's his name, Josh, like, I think that is because, like, hey, I think I can win with Nani, and I would like to win with Nani, and we have been friends for over a decade. We've dated or, you know, hung out for a little bit. So I think that they have that way to work with each other. They know each other pretty well, that I think that they could do well. They're at least going to get me some points with dailies. Bananas is always narrating. He's always having some confessionals. Maybe with them being in a partnership, it's going to make Nani come back out of her shell and be a little bit more entertaining, because she's not just going to be like cuddling up with Casey all the time. She will be strategizing and whatnot with Bananas. So I feel like I have to take them off the board because there's a likelihood that they can get to the end. They will be decently insulated. They'll have the Big Brother crew that's going to be around them. And just like, I feel like they're going to be able to have control of the season. So whether they win or not, I do think they'll go far and get me a lot of points. So I'm going to have to take Bananas and Nani.
Love how you say bananas. But listen, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I don't know what me and Drew can really add to the whole argument here. I think both of us would have picked them. Number one, they've both got a lot of experience. They've worked together as a duo. No one else has got that, you know, experience of having worked together, knowing what their partner is going to be like under pressure situations. So I think that we've said it even when we did our preseason cast assessment, which, you know, we're probably going to be a bit more snappy in a lot of our views on the draft, because if you really want to see a deeper analysis into the cast that's going to play, go and have a look at that as well, the cast assessment for season 38 on our channels. But Drew, what do you think of this pick? I guess it is really a no-brainer. I don't know what else we can add on to this.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Really good pick. Awesome. And yeah, you're going to get a lot of daily confessionals, and probably going to be there for a long time. So yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Drew seems so sad. Like, he sounds sad right now.
I feel like I stole like his presents at Christmas.
I'm getting the. I'm trying to set up initially the. I'm initially setting up the sheet. Sorry, but I mean, there's really nothing to add. They're going to be a powerhouse. Nani's the nucleus of the house, and yeah, they're going to make it far. If by some chance they get thrown in like way late into the game, then maybe they'll get taken out. But it just seems like they're going to be well insulated easily.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the next pick here. And if you told me in a million years that I would pick this person number one, no, definitely not picking Anissa first. But if you told me I was going to pick this person first, I would have never thought that would happen. But I'm picking Fessy and his partner Moira. It just has to be done. Fessy is coming in with a very strong alliance that's going to dominate again this season. I think that Casey being there, a lot of Big Brother players. I mean, this is probably the most Big Brother players we've ever had actually on a season, with both Tommy as well and Elise coming into this season. And then obviously you've got Amber. So I just don't think Fessy is going anywhere. I do think, hate him or love him, and I know the fans do not like Fessy, people are scared of Fessy in an elimination. They're not going to throw him down there very easily. I don't care who they are. They're going to have to put him up against someone big. There are a few big guys this season, but I also think people are just not going to do it, and he's very well insulated. And I've had a look at his partner's Instagram page, and I know she's not that famous and haven't really been on TV as far as I'm aware, but she is a beast. She's fit. Like, the workouts this woman does is insane. So I don't think that, Fessy is smarter than people think when it comes to puzzles as well. So I think he'll do okay in those. He's definitely very physical. The challenge loves Fessy. They absolutely loves him. So I think Fessy definitely, if there's a season that he can win, this is the season. So for me, number 2 pick, Bananas, and Nani was my number 1 pick, but Fessy was always going to be the second pick here for this season. I feel like he's really well set up this season. Chantal, how do you feel about that pick? I know you don't like Fessy per se, but the pick itself and him coming into the season, how do you think he's set up?
I don't know if I can just turn off my disdain for Fessy in order to recognize that he could potentially win this season. And because I do not want to see that as my truth, I didn't have him highly ranked. And I was hoping that I wouldn't be forced to pick him. So I'm very happy that you took him off the board, because I do agree with you what you're saying, that he has a pretty good chance of getting to the end and maybe winning. But I don't want to see that happening, so I don't want to be like, "Yo, Fessy, go, Fessy, go." I don't know. I mean, obviously, his partner. You're saying I haven't done any extra research to see whether or not she's really athletic or not. But
Very athletic.
I just don't know if she's going to be great at the challenge stuff. So we'll see how it works. He's not a great partner, and so I don't know if their dynamic's going to work. I'm interested to see if their dynamic works, but I don't really have that much faith in Fessy as a partner to be like, oh my god, no matter who he's with, they're going to do well. They're going to get to the end and win. I could see him, because he's such a bad partner, actually sabotaging himself and his partnership just because he doesn't know how to work well with other people. So I'm interested to see how he does. I think that I agree with all the points that you made. I just don't know if I would want to be championing for him.
I just want to add, before Drew gives his opinion about this as well, when I was choosing him, I was going back and forth because I also had the partner thing in my head. And for some other reason, I kept thinking about Casey, who he was close friends with, who he basically totaled her out of that final, made her injure herself because he was pushing her that hard. And he was just a bad partner to a lot of people in that season. But let's not forget, last season he worked with Esther. And I don't think that his working with Esther, I don't think Esther was a better partner than what Moira is going to be physically. And Esther was good. She was mentally not bad, but I don't think Fessy is mentally as, like, I think people, because they dislike him, they underestimate him when it comes to his mental capability. So I remember from Big Brother, I think he won the word thing where they had to do like the long word. So he's not a complete dumbass. So for me, I think that he learned from that. He tried to change that with Esther, and he was trying to be more considerate when he was working with her. And I do think that he's very aware of how people see him at the moment. He might say he doesn't look at social media. I think he's going to come in and he's going to want to work with her. And plus, Drew, I think he chose her, right? He handpicked this person to be his partner as well. So I think that will potentially give some things away as well. And you should see the legs on this woman, Chantal. Like, no one's beating her in a hall brawl. No one. I don't care who you are. Like, Jenny West would probably give her a go, but she is
or Tori, apparently, right?
Maybe because of experience, but honestly, she's impressive. Drew.
Yeah, I think it's a solid pick. I'm surprised that it's your first pick, to be honest. I think Fessy was gonna go in like the next round or maybe a round afterwards, but I think it's a solid pick. It's just a surprising one, I think, for you to pick him this early.
Drew, you should know by now. I always aim to surprise.
Yes, you do. I just want to throw this out there. Can we get a rule check if a team does so happen to like leave?
Well, I was going to say something about this.
Does the other team that the team left
gets
the one that's left over?
I would say yes, and I was also going to say that maybe at the end, you could choose, whoever has like the last pick could choose that they want to swap out their sabotage with who's left over. That's also kind of what I was thinking of, like, because I'm like, oh my god, I feel so bad right now.
I mean, that's the name of the game.
Let's do. I think let's do the swap out at the end. Yeah, rather, because obviously, if we're going to replace whoever, that points wise, it's going to be a massive benefit to whoever gets to have another go at a replacement team coming in. So I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you want to do a swap out at the end. All right, Drew, you're going to go for your first team here. Who do you have?
No surprise here. It was going to be my second team. I think I was going to pick no matter what. And I'm glad that this person is still here. And I'm going to pick Laurel and Jack, both of whom I think are best friends. Laurel is coming back. Yes, she got embarrassed by Ninja, but that was kind of a fluke, in my opinion. I think she's going to come in really wanting to stamp in that this is her game, that this is her legacy, that she is not somebody to just be messed with or is to be known as the person who was out in episode 3 of War of the Worlds 2. I took a look at Jack's Instagram quite a few times, and he has been hitting the gym nonstop. I think ever since he got the call, or was possibly even put on notice by Laurel saying like, hey, if I get to go on the challenge 38 and we do this ride or die thing, can you get ready in that time? And it seems like he took the whole year or half a year to really get into shape. So I do think that they can work together. And I have all the faith in the world in Laurel being able to be a threat, be intimidating. She's going to grab her notebook and she's going to cross out those names as she takes people out one by one. And I need somebody to actually be going far because of my sabotage that I have. So I'm going to go with Laurel and Jack.
They're my number 2 picks. So kudos on you for grabbing them. I agree with you. Like, Laurel is going to want, if she's coming back, she's going to want to come back with a vengeance. She's going to want to do a lot better. She's going to want to make it to a final. I think that, I haven't seen his socials, but the fact that you're saying that he's been working out for the last 6 months, I think with having Laurel's understanding of how this game works, I think that he is going to want to do well for her. And so I expect for them to do really well. I expect for them to work really well together. And I would be very happy with both of them being winners. So yeah, I think it's a great pick and you're lucky to have them. That's great. Good.
Yeah, so I was a little bit lower on Laurel than you guys, and again, it's because I don't have the allegiance to an OG challenger. I mean, I was looking at it more from a sense of, yes, she's capable. Yes, she's one of the best women to ever do this game.
Do you have Anissa above or below Laurel?
No, I don't have Anissa. I don't have Anissa above her. I'm not gonna. Let's not go there. But no, listen, I think Laurel's capable. She could definitely go out and win this. I don't know Jack at all, so I don't know what he's capable of, but that's definitely good to hear that he's been training and he's getting ready for the show. I just looked at it politically. Where does she sit coming into this game? Now, I know she knows some of the people that are out there, but I'm kind of leaning towards the group that have been running the house, and I hope I'm wrong here for quite a while. I feel like they're going to be very powerful again this season, and she hasn't necessarily played with them all that much. So will she be seen as someone that Casey and that mob want to go with to the end, or will they look to target or backstab her a little bit earlier? I know that Johnny Bananas and Nani may want to work with her to a certain degree, and that there is that familiarity of her, but she hasn't been in the challenge world for a while. But I definitely would have picked her above a bunch of unknown entities. It's just I think they were maybe fifth or fourth for me on my list of deos, which I'm probably going to be very different to you guys by the looks of it, picking Fessy at number 1, right? So who knows? Drew, you've got the next pick as well.
So I was going to go. Yeah. Okay. This sucks. I'm going to go with more of a solid pick. No, I don't want that. Oh my god!
You want to be wild? You want to be a wild man like me, Drew? Just live on the edge. Pick whoever.
This stinks because I want to pick somebody that could go far into the game, but just because they go far doesn't mean that they'll do anything else. They'll just be boring. So I don't want to. I want points. I need points at this point. Man. My goodness. You know what?
Only the second round.
I know. Well, the first round really threw me out. It's not even the second round. This is the third round. Let's be real.
Because you're trying to anticipate. You're trying to anticipate who will Chris pick if I don't pick this person, and who will Chantel pick. And then you've basically, if you don't pick that person right now, there's going to be 4 more picks before you get this person back. So get whoever you really want in this specific spot.
I don't know what I really want though. And I don't. I'm going to pick this is going to hurt my soul, but I'm going to pick the only other vet team that I think has a decent shot, and that's going to be Devin and Tori.
Very solid pick. In my opinion, very solid pick.
Yeah, Tori has the muscle. She also was doing well in puzzles in the finals last season. Devin is known for doing puzzles, and he's been posting up his stupid times of how far he can run a mile or how fast he can run a mile. So maybe he's put down some of the beers and started picking up some protein shakes or something. I just think that as a vet team and as the one of 3 all vet teams that are in this season, and one of them being Bananas and Nani, who were taking first. And so it's either Jay and Michelle or Devin and Tori. And Tori almost won last season. Devin came in 3rd. Tori came in 2nd. And she had a real shot to win it. So maybe this season production will help get her the win. And that's the only way she'll get this win this season. But I would love to get far into the season. I'm just worried about Bananas. It's like Tori and Devin seem to be close with the Big Brother Alliance, but without Josh there, I'm a little worried. With Bananas there, I'm even more worried about where that leaves Devin and Tori, but I really feel better with having known entities who have made it to the finals in recent seasons. So that's why I'm picking Devin and Tori.
I like
solid
that
pick. I mean, I have them a little bit lower than where you've placed them, but I definitely see your rationale as to why you picked them now. I do worry, though, about Bananas being like, Nani, let's get rid of Devin and Tori. Tori would have beaten you in the final. Like, she nearly won against Casey. Like, let's get rid of him. And Devin's always coming for me. Like, I don't want them in. Let's keep on throwing them in over and over again. So I just feel as though I don't know if they have people that are going to be protecting them. And I don't know if they'll always be able to protect themselves by being in whatever power position there's going to be this season. So I think they are a solid pick because of what they are capable of, but I don't know if they're going to be involved in the season in a way that's going to be as beneficial as last season was to both of them. So solid, but wary for me.
Yeah, I think for me, they were the 3rd team. So Bananas was 1st, Fessie's team was 2nd, Devin and Tori was 3rd on my list. So you probably wouldn't have gotten them back if you didn't choose them here, because I would have chosen them in the next round. I think very solid pick, 2 veterans, again, known entities. We know what they're bringing. Devin is great with puzzles. Devin has beaten some people in eliminations that you wouldn't think he'd beat. Tori is very good at eliminations as well. She is physically very strong. She probably should have won last season, like you said. I like this pick for you. I think you chose them in the exact right spot. And now I'm going to have to go back to my list to see who the hell do I pick next.
Just one more thing. I do not have them high up on my list whatsoever. It was the tilt that came from the first round and the sabotage that makes me play a little bit more conservative, because I do have, and I'm sure they're not coming back. They're probably not coming back to me, but Kenny and Casey were higher up on my list than Tori and Devin. I just, for the same reason why I gave you Kayla and Sam, is why I didn't pick Casey and Kenny here, because one, I don't think they're going to get me any points besides possibly maybe making it to the finals. And then if somebody comes in and decides to throw them in, and Kenny is more of an anchor to Casey than what we can think of, then then that could really sink my team, and they could be going out in episode 13, and they still give me like single digit points out of everything that they've given me. So that's why I went with Tori and Devin. Tori was starting fights. Devin was starting fights. He knows he can start fights with Bananas. They're going to get some confessionals, both of them. Sure. How cringy they will be, they'll still get confessionals and stuff. So that's why I picked them here.
Smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm exactly the same as you at the moment. I'm weighing in between those options, because I definitely have Casey and Kenny higher than what I probably should have them on my list. I'm not going to pick them for the very same reasons you didn't pick them. I'm very fearful of her just being an absolute wallflower at this stage again in the season. She might get to the end, but also I don't think with Kenny she's going to win this season. I really just don't see it. So I don't see the upside for me to go that way. So for me, it's between 2 teams right now, and I'm not going to go with my heart on this one. I'm not going to support who you guys might think I would support, or maybe I am, because it's both of them are kind of my heart, both of these 2 teams. But I'm going I'm going to rep Team Survivor. I'm going to take Jay and Michelle. I'm going to take them off the board. And I think it's a big risk, massive risk taking them here. But I'm known to take risks in any case in these drafts because they're not necessarily in the nucleus of any alliance. The one thing I do know is that Michelle has worked her butt off in the off season, socializing with these people, hanging around them, really ingratiating herself with the challenge community. So I think that I've got more faith in Michelle's social game than Jay's social game. Jay is a familiar person, though, in the house. Like Fessy and them at least know who he is. They have worked with him in a certain capacity, with Josh being the person that pissed Jay off previously and why it didn't work out. Josh is out of the equation now. So maybe Jay can find a way to work with that alliance to a bigger degree. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But I do like them. I think if they make a final, this is a team, if they can make the final, that could win it because they're both physically really good. Michelle is excellent at puzzles, and Jay is the type of body build and athleticism that do well in finals. And also, let's not forget, when he played with Teresa, they did win some really key competition dailies and things like that as well. So he can definitely win as well. So I feel a little bit fearful for this pick here, but what do you guys think? Let me know. Rip off the Band-Aid.
I had them at number 3, so it definitely is a strong pick here. I'm curious as to what is the state of her relationship with Fessy. We know that, after her previous season, her and Amanda kind of got into it over Fessy, and Fessy visited her, and they, I don't know, just kissed, and there was a lot of drama that was going around, on between them. And usually Michelle's pretty cool, calm, cool, and collected, but I'm wondering what is going to be the state of their relationship. If he's going to want to get her out, if this person that he's playing with is somebody that he's trying to be in a relationship with. Like, I don't know what their dynamic's going to be. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen there. And it would just leave me a little bit hesitant, just because if it's like bad, I could see Fessy wanting to get her out of the game. But if she's still really good socially. So I can see her being like, Fessy, like, come on, man. Like, we're still cool. We're still friends. So it might not be detrimental to her game. But I was just a little bit wary there for that. But I love them. I want them to do well. So I'm impressed by you taking them, because I did think you're going to go somewhere else, and I thought that they were going to land to me.
Yeah. Well, that's why I knew whoever I didn't pick, you were going to pick probably in the next 2 rounds. So I had to make a decision on who of the 2 pairs that I wanted to pick am I willing to lose. And to be honest, it was very close between the 2. But if I had to choose a team to rep for, it'd have to be Team Survivor, as the biggest Survivor fan on this panel. Drew, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm worried for them. I think that they can be like the underdogs. I think they will be the underdogs of the season, no matter what. I mean, they're 2 Survivor players playing together, paired up together, which is scary. Everybody is scared of Survivor, and they aren't the most physically dominant. I mean, they are going to be able to strategize and come at challenges differently than, say, all rookie teams or vet rookie teams. I think they'll have a good shot at possibly winning some dailies or being able to kind of navigate the house, especially with Jay, with being a social butterfly that he is. Michelle is coming in on her 2nd season. It can be a little bit of a question mark, but let's see how strong the Wizarding world can really keep those bonds together with Fessy and Michelle. I think it's a solid pick. I'm just worried about the reputation that Survivor has, and I think they're the only 2 Survivor players in the game, and they aren't that physically intimidating. But I still think that they can come in very smart, very strong, and maybe start to weave in and out. I mean, maybe Jay and Bananas are decent together. Maybe Nelson and Jay are doing well with each other, and Jay has been hanging out with a ton of people outside of the challenge since the last time we saw him. So hopefully it's a better round for both of them. But I am worried for this pick.
It's a risk.
Then say your Fessy pick. But not surprising. Not as surprising as your Fessy pick, but definitely riskier than your Fessy pick.
I tell you guys, when Fessy wins this season, you guys are going to eat your words.
I'll probably bark my words up that I just ate.
Chantal will be like, I'm done with the challenge forever. We would have to do another intervention after the season. I'm nothing but competitive. I want to have a pick that could potentially win this. My second pick is definitely risky, but I felt like the other pick that I was thinking about has got just as many downsides to them as well. So let's have it. Chantal, tell us who you're taking next.
Well, I'm taking your girl, taking Amber B and Chauncey. I think that even though I'm not like, I haven't been that high on Amber, but that's more so for her social game. I don't enjoy like the arguments that she was getting in, that she doesn't kind of let things go. And that was just a little bit frustrating for me. But I just feel as though her coming in there with a really strong, attractive boyfriend, I think that she's just going to approach this season a little bit differently. She's not going to allow the likes of Fessy and Casey to get under her skin, because she has somebody that's like a ride or die for her, like in the house there to support her. So I just don't think that she will feel as alone or feel as let down or whatever emotions were coming up when she was interacting with those Big Brother people. So I think that she's going to be able to come in and be with someone where she could dominate potentially physically, and hopefully she'll be able to kind of get herself, I think I was saying, with the outsiders. So with the people that are not in that Big Brother nucleus, with Nani, as the middle person kind of spreading outward. If she's not in that group, I could see her gathering together the other people. So the Michelle and Jays and maybe the other super newbie rookie players. I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of got them all together and said, like, we have to work together in order to take down these people. So I'm hoping that her being on there with her current partner, that she will have the confidence to go against these Big Brother people, as opposed to like asking them to pick her to play with them. I'm hoping that she'll be like a little bit more confident in her game. So I'm putting some faith into Amber B and Chauncey, and I would like her to take a win this season over Fessy. So I want Amber B to win in that game.
Drew, thoughts?
Yeah, I was hoping that Chauncey and Amber would fall to me, because I do think that they're going to be a very strong team. I think power couple is their name of their group. I mean, their duo is power couple, because they are going to be a physically dominating team, a physically intimidating team, I believe. And I'm really sad that they didn't fall back to me with my next pick, because I really wanted Amber on my team with Chauncey. I think that they're going to do surprisingly well, I will say, because I don't think they're going to be picked to go into eliminations. And maybe we have, if somebody like Laurel, who doesn't feel like she's in the numbers, can start gathering some of these numbers and be like the head of the vets kind of thing, and picking up these players that maybe nobody else is feeling like they're being part of a group. Maybe that they can get some protection there. But I think that this is a very solid pick that I wish I was envisioning them dropping to me, which I'm sad that they didn't.
They would never have dropped to you, because I would have definitely picked them next as well. And I think that, Drew, you and I have always been big supporters of Amber on this podcast. So, for Chantal to get Amber this season, to become a fan of Amber as well, that to me is quite fulfilling in itself. To have Chantal shout for Amber this season is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But, for me,
it's my turn again, isn't it?
No. I just wanted to give my opinions on Amber and Chauncey.
Sorry.
So the reason I didn't go for them is because I thought that I had to check my bias towards Amber. It was like, because I really felt good about this team, but I was like, am I feeling too good about them because I just love Amber so much and I want to see her back on our screens? So I kind of went the opposite way, because I felt like I was letting my personal opinion cloud my judgment. But then hearing both of you guys talk so highly about them coming into the season, I now feel like I really did mess up once again. No surprise here, because I do think that they could do well. The only problem is that, she doesn't have Josh there this season, who was her biggest supporter within the Big Brother Alliance. So I don't know how
she got Chauncey.
Yeah. I mean, socially and politically, she doesn't have that ally there within the alliance that will probably run this house. So that could still be a threat to her game, but she has proven herself to be very good at eliminations, and Chauncey is no slouch himself. So even if they do get thrown in there against like a Jay or Michelle, like I would be fearful for Jay and Michelle in a lot of different situations, unless, it's a little bit more of a carnival game or a maze where you have to shoot a ball through a mouse hole, So yeah, over to you again, Chantal. I feel like it's going just horribly for me and Drew at this point. You're killing it here in this draft.
I
like
mean, I
more
don't
so than
know.
any other draft.
I'm gonna have to take this pair off the board. As Drew already mentioned, they're likely to go to the end, but they may not get a lot of points along the way. But maybe they will. Maybe Casey is going to want to show off a little bit and be with her brother. Like, this is how you be on the show, and kind of like give him the grand tour and the hosting of like how you be on the challenge. So maybe she will be a little bit more animated, and we'll see a little bit of a different side of her for her wanting to make sure that her brother has a really good time. So my pick is officially Casey and Kenny. Kenny seems like he might be a little bit more quiet than Casey, but I'm hoping that they have a similar mentality or a way that they attack games and athletics. And so maybe he's going to be a quiet force, and he actually might be really good at some of these dailies and different activities. I don't think he's going to be physically intimidating to go down into the arena, but I could see them working really well together and doing well on the dailies. So I wouldn't be surprised if they got some power with the dailies. And I do think that Casey is in really well insulated, that I could see them getting to the end, or people not wanting to throw Kenny down because they don't want Casey to be pissed. And next time she gets some power, it's going to take them out. So I think that they could go far. I'm not sure if they're going to be my biggest point getters, but I really wouldn't want to let either of you two have them at this point, because I feel like they're going to be a shoo-in at least to make it to the final points. So Casey and Kenny, babies.
Casey and Kenny was, like I said, placed slightly higher than both, for me coming into this draw, than both Jay and even Amber and their teams. But similar to Drew kind of convinced me, and I was thinking down that same line that potentially they're not going to be good entertainment. There's not going to be much points there, and that's how I lose a lot of the times these draws, because I pick players based on who I think is going to go to the end, not who's going to actually score me points throughout the whole season. So that's why I didn't go there. But very solid pick. Casey is a champion. She's the most recent champion. Some people might be upset about how she won and say Tori should have won that, which I agree with that opinion. But still, you cannot take away from her that she has never not made a final in any season that she's played. That's pretty impressive in itself. I do think there is a few scenarios, though, where Casey gets on the wrong side of the number, a rookie or an outsider tries to take a stab. Please let it happen this season and not be boring. And she goes into an elimination, and her brother does not look like someone like that potentially would be able to run with her. I just don't think he's her level of competitor. It's one of the reasons why blood versus water seasons in Survivor sometimes can be a hit and miss, because it's very rare to get two people of the same caliber in the same family that can play the game. So I think that's the only negatives I have on them. But again, at this point, where you've got two very, very solid picks ahead of them that potentially could give you points, this makes 100% sense to balance your team out. I think it's a very good pick for you at this stage.
Thank you. Pretty solid. I will say that, like everybody was saying, I mean, they could make it to a final, but I don't think you're going to get much more than the 20 points that you would be getting, especially if they're not seeing an elimination, because Casey didn't really see eliminations.
But
last season, confessionals aren't going to be coming in that much. And
what if she gets jealous of Nani and Bananas, like, working together, because they've been in a relationship before, and so maybe there'll be a little bit of jealousy that comes in. So a few jealousy confessionals may happen. I'm just saying, it's possible.
I mean, you can keep saying it over and over and over again and hoping that it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can say she's going to be as animated as she can be. I think we saw her as animated as she could be last season when she was laying on the floor and CT was jumping up and down, and she was just laying there like, I won. So I'm going to say that I'm going to throw it out there. They're not going to win. CT's not here. Production's not going to bail her out, kind of thing, to win this game. And she might make it to a final. I just don't think that they're going to make a ton of points.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the over-under on their points get for this season, Drew? Is it over-under 20 points? No confessionals whatsoever?
No, she'll get the confessionals that are like, okay, so in this daily challenge, we have to grab a ball and run back to the other side, kind of thing. So I feel like she'll get like a handful of those. If she makes it to the end, I'm gonna say under 50 points for the whole team.
Two of them?
for both of them. Yeah.
Okay,
together.
I'm going to say over 50. I think they'll get over 50
I think
points.
I think I might be being too harsh, but I just don't see it very much going over 50.
You say under 50, Chris.
I'm under 50 as well. I think I don't have high hopes for her this season, like at all. Like
I'm fine. That's fine. I'm fine with it. Let's see if the over under. If I'm
who knows? Her
right
brother
here.
might be like the biggest personality. Like her brother might
I
be
don't think
the
so,
exact
but-
opposite of her. You know, imagine her brother coming in here and being like the biggest confessional person and just being an absolute.
What if
laugh.
he finds somebody to like flirt with, and maybe he's gonna start like making out with someone? I'll get some makeout points.
We're just dismissing him because Casey is boring on our show. We're just like completely. Now Kenny he won't be good either. But I mean, who knows? Like me and my brother and sisters, we're complete opposites. Like he could be very entertaining for all we know.
He's also posted that he just recently got married as well. So if he's making out with anybody, then that's not good.
I've been going over in my head right now because I honestly don't feel like there is I feel like I should have just taken the stab at Amber almost, but Jay and Michelle will do me well this season. I don't know if there's anybody good still left on the board. There's a person who I know can win this thing, but and if I don't take them, they're definitely going in the next round. But they're coming in after a long layoff of not being in the challenge world. They're very confrontational. If things don't go their way, will they get DQ'd? There's so many red flags around this person right now that I don't know if I should go there, which normally would be the obvious one. I feel like I should just continue to add pain on Drew to a certain degree here because I feel like I should go and do the opposite of what he thinks I'm going to do and go for someone that is very more predictable in Nelson. I don't know Nelson's going to win the season, but Nelson's going to give me confessional points. He's going to give me the workouts, the Nelly T workouts.
Oh my God, Drew is at all. Like going to be crying. Drew, are you okay?
Took his boy Nelly T, but I feel like I need to go for someone that has got a better chance of actually having connections in the game that can go deeper, even though I could see an argument to go for Turbo here. That's the other team I'm mulling it over. But if I had to lose him, I'll lose him here right now to secure someone that I think is going to do better this game. Just socially, Nairoos, to me, I would like to know more about her from you guys. I've got no idea what she's like.
She's got some bite. Like, she's definitely
She's smart. That's all I need to know.
I don't know if I can't, probably not if she's dating Nelson. I'm sorry, Nelson. I mean, she was on Are You the One? Then she was wait, what was happening? She was fighting with, what's her new roommate's name? Drew? Anyways, they were fighting over the same guy, I think. What's his name?
Are you talking about Deandra?
Deandra and Nerys were fighting over... Can't remember. Anyways, fighting over the same guy. Now they live together. Malcolm, thank you. And then weren't they both also fighting over Nelson? Or am I just making that up?
I don't think so. Okay,
good. Well, anyways, I just Nerys is definitely from a love show, but she's competitive and she will definitely get some fight points. So, yeah, I think that she could be
Nelson, please just do better this season. That's all I'm hoping for. We had him as the number 1 male pick last season, and he's
I'm not included in that.
True. But the thing for me is, I was just like, if I have another wild card in here, I would have 3 wild cards out of 4 picks. I can't do that at this stage to myself. So I needed to bring some stability into my team. Could fail in my if Nelson goes in and has to do a puzzle, it's going to be tough. If he has to swim, it's going to be tough. But again, I actually feel better about him than Turbo this season. I think he's got more connections. So Drew, what do you think of that pick? And I guess who's next on your end? It's getting tough.
I mean, Nelson. No, I don't see the connections that you may be seeing coming into the season with Nelson. I mean, he has Jay and he talks to Devin, but I mean, without really Corey on the season, I mean, I feel like Nelson could fill in that Corey role where everybody was just like, oh, we want to get Corey out now, but now Corey's not here. So it's like, okay, well, Nelson will fill that in. So I actually am worried about Nelson coming into this season. I really like Nerys. I'm so happy she's actually going to be on the season of the challenge, and I hope that they can work together. But we'll see what happens. But I really like Nelson. I'm hoping that he can do better and be better coming into the season and possibly make it farther into the finals. But just looking at the anatomy of the house, he's not necessarily in with the big brother. He's with Fessy, but even that isn't like a for sure thing that he's going to be solid within the numbers. But I believe in him. I will be
I
rooting
think
for him.
personally, I think that Big Brother would much rather run a final against Nelson than running it against Jay and Michelle or running it against Amber and her boyfriend, probably because, Johnny Bananas is not fearing Nelson in a final. Let's be honest. Fessy is not fearing Nelson in a final. So I can very easily see him having some in as a vet of this game who has been playing this game recently and just went to a final last season. You can't tell me that he hasn't made some connections to be able to get to that point in the game. So like that's my argument there, but I can see a lot of down points for him as well. I'm kind of doing what Chantal did here. I'm going for someone that I think can make it to the end game, not necessarily win it here, but will also be more entertaining while getting to the end game because I love Nelson's confessionals.
Well, also though, just to add on, he may have a connection. Remember, I was saying that Johnny might be part of Team Young Buck 2.0. I think that I could see him working with Nelson for the fact that Johnny was on the same season as Jeremiah, and Jeremiah immediately was in with Corey and Nelson. So if any sort of pre-gaming or talks happened, I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny, Chauncey, I don't know, but Johnny would have maybe connected with Nelson and been like, hey, like, or Jeremiah being like, hey, Nelson, like, my boy Johnny's coming onto the season, like, you guys should work together. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, if there was a little link up there. So he could be better insulated or have some more numbers than we're initially seeing here.
All right, Drew, over to you for the next two picks now.
All right, well, I'll pick the only other decent vet rookie team that's left, and I'm going to go with Turbo and Tamara. Turbo's coming in, past winner, of course. Yes, he can DQ if the production team decides he's been unruly, but Jordan's not on this season. I don't think anybody's going to really try to fight him. Maybe Fessy, but probably not to the certain extent that Josh or Jordan was. But I will say that he is a winner. He is a known winner. We've seen him do well if he likes his partner, which Nani was a partner that people are down about with her performance-wise on the challenges and eliminations, yet she and Turbo were winning over and over and over again. So maybe Turbo and Tamara, who looks to be hitting the gym, looks to be a dancer and a model. So she's in shape. Just the worries that we were talking about with Casey. You never know. A new person coming into the challenge is a big question mark and unknown that we don't know what could happen going into the season. If they are training the way they can, it's very different than running on a treadmill than doing these challenges. But I have all the faith in the world of Turbo to win. I can't believe that he dropped all the way to me. I was getting ready to pick Nelson. I was getting ready to pick Amber and Chauncey. That did not happen. So I will gladly pick the Lion King in Turbo Tarabi. And I am worried about his partner, though, because there's a lot surfacing about his partner and
oh, really?
and cheating stuff. Yeah, apparently her boyfriend that was outside of this game, that who isn't Turbo, was coming out saying that for 2 years that they were in a relationship with each other, and then found out through social media that she was going to be on the challenge and with this other guy that she's supposedly been seeing on the side besides him. So
wow,
that really throws a wrench into everything if anything like that gets brought up, or if they're not as close as they could be. But I have all the faith in the world of Turbo.
Yeah, I agree. Turbo is obviously a big pick. The only rumblings I've heard a little bit of that what you just mentioned about her ex coming out of the woodworks, but I also heard that Turbo gets into a couple of fights. I don't remember who he gets in the fight with or what happens with them, but you'll get some fight points for sure with Turbo. I heard that he was in at least two fights. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I feel like for once I made the right decision because I was very close.
Fight points. You want fight points?
No, well, I feel like he could get DQ'd again, right? Like, I mean, when Turbo fights, it's not, your MTV put on a show fight type of thing. It is, listen, this guy's going to kill you. We're going to have all of the security on him, and we have to escort him out of the building because the guy is legitimately, he doesn't have the same view to entertainment and stuff. He takes this life and death thing very seriously. So when I hear Turbo's getting in fights, I'm hearing he's getting DQ'd. That's really what I'm hearing when you tell me that. So because Turbo fighting is literally, he's going to take someone's life. So that's why I wanted to stay away from him for that very reason, because I feel like you could say he's been away from the challenge for a while now. Maybe he's matured a little bit. Maybe he's hung out around people in America a little bit more, so he's getting used to the culture. But the Turkish culture is very different compared to the American culture. And, it's honor. You've how dare you step over the line and dishonor me. It's a different level. So I love Turbo. I very, very badly want for him not to be disqualified, and I hope that the fights aren't that serious and it's just verbal. I'm putting it out there in the ether because for me, Turbo is one of my favorite newbie winners of all time. I want him to come back and do really well. The thing that swung me towards Nelson is because I knew you were going to take Nelson if I didn't, Drew. So it was like one reason. I was like, I need to take him away from you. And then secondly, it's just because I think between the two of them, Nelson is the one that's more likely to go deeper due to the connections and recently having played. Where Turbo, let's not forget, he was a part more so closely with Kara, Paulie, that faction of the house the last time he played. And that was also a faction that was very much in control of Johnny Bananas going home. So Johnny Bananas coming into the season, I think may want to, get some revenge for that. Like, I don't feel like Bananas is going to forget about it. And I don't think he wants to run against Turbo in a final. So he'll grasp onto any reason to target him this season. So that's the main reasons I've stayed away from him. But I really badly hope that I regret it at the end of the season.
Me too.
I'm like, so does Drew.
All right, who's next, Drew? Who's next on the list?
Your final pick.
So for my final pick,
oh my God, are you? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to go with my dark horse team that I was talking about when we did our original chat about Challenge 38. I'm going to pick Olivia and Horatio. Olivia is the Love Island Season 3 winner. She is, I think, taller than some of the other girls, at least the girls that were on Love Island. I think she played some sort of sport either in high school or I can't remember her bio. There were so many random people on that show that I can't remember everybody's bio. But she seems to be in shape. She seems to be doing well. And then Horatio, on the other end, does Spartan races, mud races. He does death races. He does a show called Exaltan Unidos Estadios, which is very much just a huge obstacle course show that he goes one-on-one with somebody. And I think his skills translate better to the challenge than, say, the rest of who is up here. So I'm going to take the shot on a rookie team that is Horatio and Olivia.
I mean, I don't know anything about Horatio, so the fact that he does Spartan races, like, that's great. He could be definitely a dark horse in this season. Olivia, yes, she does work out and she's young, so she's going to be just naturally decently in shape. I just don't know how good they're going to be politically. I don't know if they're just not going to be thrown in because they don't know anybody. So I would just be worried about them personally, just because they're a rookie team. And it coming into this game, I would want to be with a vet because it's just a lot easier to throw a rookie team in and not really be worried about any consequence. So I think that they could do decently well, maybe win a couple of dailies, but I just don't see them getting around being thrown in often.
Yeah, you've probably picked I think that it's a great pick in the last pick because I would have picked them next for sure. So I guess the big risk for you is that you're taking a risk on old Turbo and new Turbo. Which one's going to play out here? But it's kind of like they're kind of interchangeable. So if one of them don't work out, the other one might just go very deep. And we've seen that sometimes rookie teams get to the end. Like last season, there was a few rookie teams that got very deep. They were manipulated by the vets. The vets are looking for people that they can use. Maybe they become that team this season. I don't know much else about them, but Horatio, he does look like he is going to be very capable. I've done a little bit of research looking online at some of his Instagram stuff and seeing what the competition looked like that he was in. It kind of looks like a Ninja Warrior type of competition. We know that definitely helped someone like
Ninja.
when she was on the show, she did really, I think, reasonably well and adapted to all the different scenarios very well. The one thing we don't know is puzzles and things, but listen, we're in the last round here. We're dealing with some unknown entities and a very known entity, maybe two known entities in the game. But for me, this next pick, I said the whole time I'm going to go for the known. I'm going to go for the known. I'm going to go for the unknown on the last one. I have to. I can't give this one to Chantal. It would make her team too stacked if I left them on the board. Drew, what have I done?
I just don't understand what your sabotage pick was for then. What was your sabotage pick for then? If you're not gonna pick this known entity, because you said you were gonna pick the known entities, so you don't give the sabotage to Chantel. So now you're just gonna leave them on the board for whatever team may lose a team early on in the season who's gonna have to pick them. I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay.
I just had a weird question.
I'm completely lost. But anyways, the problem for me, with leaving this team is that they both seem physically more capable than the other two teams. So I'm going on physicality here. I know that the girl, forgot her name right now. Help me for a sec. Colleen, is it? Colleen. Colleen. She's played the mole, so that takes some strategy, some sort of social political game. I know that she got found out ultimately from what you told us, Drew.
She was bad. Sorry, was she bad?
Terrible.
So I mean, I know that she's got some physicality there, and then obviously Kim, he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. Like physically is a beast. I just did not like if I left. I'm sorry, Drew. I don't know what you wanted me to do here at the end, but if I left this team there for Chantal would not have picked Anissa. I don't think. I just maybe you could prove me wrong. I just don't think you would have picked Anissa, and your team would have been too stacked.
I mean, I would have only picked this team if it was my last choice. Just because I don't know how well they're gonna do. As any rookie team, I'm gonna be a little bit wary about. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that they do well. I want to see what they're made of. I don't really know much about them other than the little clip that we saw of whatever show that he was on. But who knows? But
you don't have much to say. So you're happy. Well, I'll tell you why.
I don't even know if I'm happy. I'm not sure who I'm going to pick out of the last two. So
okay, cool. I won't say you. I won't tell you why I didn't pick those two then until you choose who you're going to pick. But Drew, you were the one that had the biggest reaction to me picking this one here. I'm sorry I disappointed you. It seems like me and you were not in sync here today, and we have given Chantal the best opportunity to win this one. But Drew, what do you think about this team? I feel like you've done probably the most research on them compared to both of us.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think it's a fine pick. I think it's the pick that you should have made. But the way you talked about your sabotage and why you gave Johnny M and Raven as your sabotage pick to Chantel, and I was like, why didn't you pick Anissa? You could put Anissa on her team, and you're like, no, it's known entities. They're unknown entities. I'm gonna pick the known entities. We get to the point where there's all unknown and one known, and you say, I don't want it. So what was the point? What? Why? If it came down to it, where Anissa was left, the known entity, the only known entity, and you still swerved at the end. I don't understand it.
I think I've broken there. Chantal, I think I've broken Drew.
He has a point. He's basically saying if they weren't a sabotage, why haven't you picked them yet?
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. I hear you on that, Drew. I don't know, man. Sometimes the thing for me is I always react to how the draft is going. So for me, I've got my numbers 1 to 10, and let me tell you guys, just to give you guys a fair behind the scenes look at how the rankings went for me here, and how things changed. So I had Fessie and Moira at second, so I got them at second. I had Devin and Tori at third. You got that. So where did I have Jay? Jay and Michelle was 6. So I skipped ahead of Amber and Casey on the fly on that one. Nelson, I had on my list at
I feel like
10.
you're drafting like Sylvia would draft.
I actually skipped like 3 teams. Like I had Horacio Turbo ahead of Nelson and Tommy and Annalise, and I didn't even pick them at the end. So yeah, I don't know what I do half of the times on these drafts, guys. I come in here, I look at how it's going. I did looking at Chantal's team. I did not know when I did the sabotage how stacked her team was going to be. I did not want to give her another potentially stacked team, and I thought she would pick them. That was the main reason for why I picked them. I was just like, I cannot get, like, I'm sure
I would have
if
picked
I
them.
went,
So don't,
yeah,
you're right.
if I picked the last Big Brother team on the list, which would have been my other pick, it would not have been
which is
just
more
wouldn't have been
to Drew's
Anissa.
point right now.
Yeah, which wouldn't have been, yeah, it's fair. That's fair. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry, Drew. I know I'm a disappointment. What can I say? You know?
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Feel
just
like I
that
really let him
Chantel
down.
has all powerful teams, even with a sabotage team that could do actually well. She has a pretty decent sabotage team, as well as the first pick in 2 very strong teams. It's fine. And then whoever is, I already filled in your last team, Chantel, so I'm pretty sure I know who you're gonna pick. And then whoever loses a team,
No.
loses a team early.
I thought we're doing it that right now. If you want to switch out your sabotage, you can switch it out for the team that is left over, which is really ironic.
So because this is bad. Drew got screwed in this one, so I feel really
no,
bad.
But that's what we kind of just like we decided on. I thought.
Can I switch out Chris's sabotage that I gave to him and give him Anissa? Like,
no, you can do your sabotage. I mean, unless Chris, I don't want to. I like my sabotage enough to keep it. You're right, Drew.
I'm very happy with my sabotage.
So
I think it's
Drew
a good pick.
will give you right now the option. Okay, so I am choosing Annalise and Tommy. Reasons why, we know that Annalise has been training with Jay. So if we're saying that Jay is going to come here and be potentially like good physically, I think that she will as well. Maybe if they are dating or something, there might be some little kissy points. Tommy is a dancer, and so he might be good at some things that we're not expecting him to be good at. He's not very tall, so that could be problematic in some things. If you have to like jump off a ledge and grab something, like he might not be great at that, but I think he'll be a good partner. He has a lot of communication. I don't think he's good strategically. As I mentioned before, he was on Sequester Mini and he was just like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feeling. Like, unless that's changed, like that could be bad for him. But I think that she's really pretty. All guys like her. I don't think people are going to want to throw her in and get her out necessarily. And I think that they might do better than their placement in the draft order. So I'm hoping that they do at least win one daily. At least one.
So. No, listen, I think it was between them for me and obviously the unknown. I probably should have just went for them in hindsight, the way you explained it and the potential relationships that there is. But it's the end of the draft, and I feel like the sabotage completely threw us all off coming into this
they're
thing.
From Big Brother. Like, why wouldn't you? They might just be easily just pulled into those numbers,
Yeah, the probably the least connected ones, I feel like, out of the Big Brother ones to the Big Brother group themselves, because they've played in different seasons. But you're right, there might be a Big Brother alliance with so many Big Brother players this season. I mean, it's very possible that I made
for the numbers
a very bad mistake here. And to be honest, looking at the draft right now, like how you don't win this, I just don't know. Like, I mean, you've got a stacked team here, and I feel bad. I feel like I've let Drew down here, and I've added to you getting a very, very strong team. I'm sorry, Drew.
But Drew, the real question is, would you or would you not rather trade out your sabotage team for the unpicked team of Anissa and James?
I mean, I feel like I have to at this point. For what we know, like it's pretty. For what we know, I feel like I should switch it out. At least Anissa is connected with Tori, and
she has won dailies before. She's not,
and she is known for winning like 1 or 2 dailies in the beginning. So I mean, it's either start off negative points and possibly get nothing, or we get I pick up Anissa and James and maybe get an episode of confessionals. so it's not a complete like roster spot absolutely destroyed. But yeah, I'll take Anissa. So my whole plan went to hell in a handbasket because I left Anissa on the board so that Chantel, who had the first pick on both, could have been sabotaged at some point. But now I'm the one getting picked with Anissa and James.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm sorry, Drew. I'm sorry. I definitely screwed.
We gave you the choice though at the end, right?
so
I
excited.
think that's kind of fun, actually. You know,
I mean, honestly, I was probably gonna get Anissa and James at some point. So why not get them now?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to
I
finish
think
this
it
one.
worked out pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you would be
For you.
very happy with the draw. You get the sabotage. You get to go first. You know, you've got a stacked team all over. I guess as we sort of start looking at our teams, Drew, is there anything positive around your team? Like, how do you feel now that you've seen it? I mean, you're talking like you're a dead man walking, but it's only your last spot that's probably not the strongest. Like, you've got some good picks there.
No, I think I do have some good picks. I mean, I'm walking out of this for how I felt about the 30-minute mark when we started picking people and people were being picked for us. I was getting ready to just say, screw it all, and I'm just going to pick some random teams to try to throw everybody off. But looking at the teams, I actually feel pretty decent with having Laurel on my team, Tori and Devin, who I think is still a wild card, but I still think that they could do pretty good on this season. And for whatever social game that they had started last season to come into this season. And then, I wasn't expecting to get Turbo, especially not in the 4th round. And then I'm really, really happy to have gotten Horatio and Olivia. I honestly was coming into this hoping that they would be there on my last pick. Like, realistically, it's like I really would like Bananas and Nani as my first pick if I could get first pick, and then end the draft picking Horatio and Olivia. Like, those were my sets coming in. So as even though I wasn't able to get Bananas and Nani, I'm still really happy with the team that I have and getting the last pick in Horatio and Olivia. So I'm actually pretty satisfied with the team that I have. Not the team that I was necessarily coming in thinking I was going to get, but I'll ride or die with these teams.
Chantel.
Yeah, I'm very happy with my team, of course. Like, everybody is in part of my top 13. So all my last place teams, I didn't actually I thought I did pretty well. Definitely my sabotage team really helped, I think, stack my team. Just because I would have picked them midway, or I think I had them in 11th place. So I possibly could have picked them if I wasn't sabotaged with them. So thank you, Chris. You definitely helped me out there. I really
Do I
like
get the co-captain title? Do I get the co-captain title for your team?
Yes, co-captain, of course. It won't be Baby Ice. It'll be you. That's my co-captain here. So yeah, I love that I have Banana and Nani's. I do think that they're going to get a lot of points, regardless of whether they win the season or not. I feel like the season is going to be around them. Yeah, and my other I'm happy to have Amber on my team this time around. You know, I just want to see what she's gonna do. I'm really hopeful that she's going to do something different than we've seen her do these last couple of seasons. And so I have a lot of faith in her. But yeah, everybody, I'm happy with my team. I'm very happy.
Yeah, so
your team,
I'm excited to see you.
Am I team Big Brother? No.
You have
Bananas and
3
Nani's,
players. You have
Amber?
4 players from Big Brother on your team. So you have Amber, Casey, Annalise, and Tommy. So you have 4 of your 10 players on that were from Big Brother. So you're like team Big Brother at this point.
I mean, I do watch the show and enjoy it. So
Oh, hot take, spicy take.
I
always have people in the live giving me troubles like, Chris likes Big Brother. Chris likes Big Brother. Well, now we know who really likes Big Brother the most.
Well, this is Big Brother 2.0.
But I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to see you shout for Amber this season. I can't wait to come in.
I'll
here
be happy
Chantel.
to if she changes her tune.
It's gonna be fun. Well, my team, I feel decent, but I also feel like if there's one person who did Drew dirty, and I kind of feel bad about it at the end of this, it's been me, because I stole his main man Nelson from him. I, ended up not doing the sabotage the way I should have probably. And I will admit, I kind of, I shit the bed on that one, definitely. And you gave me Kayla at the end, which I feel really good about. I feel almost like I feel better about Kayla than your pick at the end, Chantal. I mean, she's doing extremely well this season. Wouldn't necessarily have been the person that I wanted coming into the draft right from the start, but I'm also pretty happy. I think that it's probably a blue chip stock having her as my sabotage. The sabotage really threw us off, but overall, I think Fessy is going to do. He's going to do well. People might hate it, but I would not be surprised if he goes to the final. If his partner is good, if he actually does end up winning the show, I think he's got a legitimate shot. Jane Michelle was the risk that I took at second round, but I do think it could pay off as well. There's a lot of upside to them if they're ever the underdogs or they're in the outside of the house. I do think there's a few scenarios where they can win eliminations. Let's not forget Jay did beat CT in an elimination. So, I mean, the guy can step up when he needs to. And then, I guess Nelly, again, I think it's going to go deep. I really do think that most of the seasons that he plays, he goes deep for some other reason. He's got to have a better social game than we sometimes give him credit for. The end of it, it starts falling off a little bit with my last pick. But I couldn't, like I said, I just couldn't leave that on the table for Chantal, because I kind of tried to defend the mistake I made, in the beginning of this, and I feel really bad about that, Drew. Sorry, man.
I wanted to say something earlier about the Fessy, because you're saying that Fessy worked really well with Esther. I think it was a bit of politeness for the fact that he doesn't know Esther and he's not friends with her, and so he kind of was like wants to come across as like a good guy and a good partner. But I'm wondering if he's going to go back to how he treated Casey in that final with his partner. It'd be someone that he knows a little bit better, that he's going to be able to speak to in a different way, different tone, just because they have a different relationship. So I'm curious to see whether it's going to be Fessy with Casey or Fessy with Anissa, or if it will be Fessy with Esther. I'm not sure which version of him we'll see. I'm obviously hoping that we'll see Fessy with Anissa version, because then maybe he'll be thrown into the arena or whatever.
The reason he got frustrated with Anissa was because she physically couldn't keep up with him. He's not going to get, Moira's not going to physically not keep up with him. I think he'll be okay there. But if she's headstrong and she wants to run it while he wants to run it, that's, I think, where the friction is going to be.
Well, that's the thing, too, is Esther and Fessy were winning. So he's not going to complain while he's in the winner's seat and feeling all good about himself. So if they start losing, if they start losing, what could the teams look like? I do want to throw this out there. We don't have to talk about it right now. We can talk about it closer when the season comes in. But because of these sabotages, and because we have backfires on our sabotage for players giving sabotages and then their teams doing well, should we do a negative point total of whoever you gave a sabotage to the other team, that you start getting those points deducted from your total points, because you gave them as a sabotage, and now they're getting points, and now it's getting you negative points.
Well, I might get screwed for doing that, because
so anytime our sabotage player gets us points would be negative to the saboteur.
We could do half negative points. We could just do, if they win a daily challenge, as a negative points. We don't have to do full negative points, because somebody could be really negative.
Yeah.
And it might be me,
Kayla gets to the final.
It might be me, and
it's every single point that they get. It would just be maybe -1 point kind of thing.
We can talk about it more. It just came to my mind that we have backfires.
It's kind of good.
Or we could do something like, if one of our sabotage players makes it to the finals, then all their points are deducted to the other person's team at the end. Could be really interesting.
Wow. Yeah, let's problem solve that. Let's problem solve that. I like the idea of us playing around with that format.
I will say that if Anissa makes it halfway and she's won 2 daily challenges, I'm an Anissa stan. I'm a Stan.
The rest of your life
is my name. Stan Nissa.
Stanisa Drew.
All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. For those that have just come across this channel for the very first time, seeing our draft, it's a little bit of an insight of the madness that happens here on a weekly basis when we recap the show that we love, The Challenge. We recap the Challenge All-Stars. We're going to be recapping the Challenge USA that probably would have aired, I would assume, by the time that this is going out. We're also going to be recapping this. And then there's a whole bunch of other challenge shows coming up: USA, Argentina, UK. So if you want a lot of challenge content, subscribe to all 3 channels. It is here on the screen: the Nullified Take, Reality Realness with 3 S's, and also Angelcake Entertainment, Chantel and Drew. It's been a lot of fun. Normally we would plug whatever we're doing, but this is going to be in the future, so no need to do that. So thanks for watching, and as always, guys, see you next time. Bye.